Today's DMT Insight is on the difference between drills and strategies. What is the best approach to getting kids to be fluent with addition or multiplication? So you've probably seen students working on a word problem and then they have to stop and work on some addition problem or multiplication like 6 times 7. They're like, I don't know it. So then over on the side, they're scribbling something. 6 plus 6 is 12. Maybe 12 plus 12 is 24. And all of a sudden, all their working memory and energy is going into just the 6 times 7, forgetting what they were even solving for in the first place, and then typically getting it wrong or just becoming frustrated and stopping. It happens all the time. We see this from 3rd grade through 8th grade. Okay, so I'm Dr. Jonathan Brenderfer from the Developing Mathematical Thinking Institute, and today we're going to be talking about which approach is better and why. Okay, so first thing is typically when the kids aren't getting their facts correct, what do? We go back to time tests, we go back to flashcards, we go back to rhymes, and that is not the approach. It's not that practice is bad. Practice is really important, but when you're doing drills and you're teaching the facts in isolation, what is happening is from short-term memory going into long-term memory, it's not durable. That fact does not stay there because it's not connected to anything. So the chances are we're not going to remember it next week, let alone next month. And the evidence is clear from decade after decade after decade. So right now, which is true for the last 50, 60 years, that's another research overview, you can check it out. 95% for multiplication, 95% of the 3rd graders have their facts down. So 3rd grade teachers are pretty excited about that. But every year it decreases. So by 8th grade, it's less than 17% of the kids have their multiplication facts. So then if you're teaching middle school, it's so frustrating. So do we just give the kids a calculator? Do we give them a multiplication chart? What do we do? Here's what we should be doing. We should be doing flexible practice, and that's what's called strategies. So with strategies, for addition, there's 4 different strategies we should be thinking about. So we could be adding something like 6 plus 7. And we could say, focus on the doubles. So this is the important idea. So not only the strategy, but when would you use a strategy or not? So that's what the kids are thinking about, which is really powerful. So 6 plus 7, I might say, I know 6 plus 6 is 12. Plus 1 more is 13. And then they have to end saying, so that means 6 plus 7 is 13. But you could also say, well, what about doing a benchmark, finding that next 10? So now it could be, 6 plus 7. I'm going to decompose that 7 into a 4 and a 3. Very valuable skill. So now I know 6 plus 4 is 10, plus 3 more is 13. So 6 plus 7 is 13. I could also use a compensation strategy. Compensation is when I'm introducing a new number. So I could just say, instead of 7, what if I added 3 to it? So 6 plus 10 is 16, but I didn't have that 3, so I'm going to subtract it. 16 minus 3 is 13, and now 6 plus 7 is 13. And then the last one, once you have double digit, when the ones digits are 10 or less, then that would be a good fluency strategy to use. So it was 17 plus 12. I could do 10 and 10 is 20, 7 plus 2 is 9, so that's 29. So that becomes really quick and fast there, but you're also doing strategies, you're making connections, and you have multiple pathways if you forget what the fact is. In addition, what you're doing is you're actually practicing multiple other facts at the same time. So that really increases your ability to remember facts. There's also, similar with multiplication, there's halving and doubling. There is the benchmark, there's squares, a new one, and then there's compensation. So that will be for all of those strategies. If you want to learn more, we have a book on fluency and facts. So kids need them. This is how to teach them. So we'll put that in the link below too if you want more information. So then some of the research, we had done a study where we looked at drill and strategy in 3rd and 4th grade classrooms. And we found out with drill, students on multiple 3rd grade classrooms, multiple 4th grade, on average for drill, they were gaining 1 fact per minute over a month's practice time. Versus when you focus on strategies, it was averaging 6 facts per minute. So that's a pretty big difference. The other thing that I think was remarkable is then over time, when you come back 3 months later, the drill group had gone down. And it's really interesting looking at some of them because sometimes they just memorize facts incorrectly because of rhyming. The 6 times 7, 7 times 6, they would mess that up. And with the strategy practice, they would remember the strategies and when to use them, which then really enabled them to remember them long term. So There's a couple things. We have what's called strategy cards. So they look like flashcards on one side, but then we have the two most probable strategies to use for those facts. So then you can use those with kids. Like, here's the fact. You can say it, 7 + 8, 15, but then in the back it's like, oh, how would you use a doubles for that? How would you use the benchmark? So they're learning, and you're asking the question, when would you use these? So it's very powerful. And then we're also going to put in the link, there's a worksheet that we build where you would put in the 4 facts that you want them to work. You can do 2 kind of easy ones and then 2 more difficult. Then across the columns are going to be the 4 strategies, and the kids have to solve it that way in each of those cells. And then, or if it's like 6 + 19, you're not going to use a double, so wouldn't use a doubles here. So they're actually thinking about what they're doing. And once they finish that worksheet, usually give it out Monday, and then on Friday they have to turn it in. We play a little game for about 10 minutes. We take a chip or a coin, they flip it, it lands somewhere on a cell, and the kids back and forth have to do that fact with that strategy. So that ensures, even if they copied, which they would never do that, copied from somebody else, then that they actually are learning those different strategies as well. So if you think this is helpful, please let other people know. Please follow us, like us, and check out our materials.